Each day I spend in hell, I chose to stay. It's funny what you fear can make you weak. Yeah, but truth is what you get, and truth is what you speak. I'm sending out a message to myself, so that when I hear it on the radio, I will know that I am fine. I will know that I am loved. I warn myself from blindness in my chest. The razors in my heart would never rest. It's funny how you find just what you seek. Yeah, love is what you get, when love is what you speak. I'm sending out a message to myself, so that when I hear it on the radio, I will know that I am fine. I will know that I am loved. Y'all sing with me. Sha-la-la-la-la-la-la-la-la. Sha-la-la-la-la-la-la-la. I will know that I am fine. I will know that I am loved. I will know that I am fine. I will know that I am loved.
I'm up right now. Good morning, everyone. Okay, let's do that again. Good morning, everyone. Good morning. You guys are here for the second service. You're supposed to be a bit more vibrant in your response. What a pleasure to have you here. My name is Reverend Dr. Keith Cox. I know my name. I just was trying to figure out what I was doing. Glad you're all here. Let's let everyone roll in. Come on in, everyone else. And let's say a big hello to those that are watching online, as well as those of us in the room. Everybody wave to those watching online, whether they can or cannot see you. We want them to be able to feel your presence. And I'd like to honor and acknowledge my community, the Center for Spiritual Living Los Angeles, which is watching through the YouTube channel of Granada Hills. So we welcome all of us into this home. We are at the Center for Spiritual Living Granada Hills. Reverend Mary. Kathy.
Yes. That's fine. No.
Goddess. Let's go with Goddess. How about that? We know that name, right? Right. We come together on Sunday mornings to remember who we are. And Teresa's our musician. A big hallelujah for her and appreciation. You might have to excuse me. I might be a little bit high from the first service, so it might take a little while to get it all grounded. We had a great service. We come together on Sunday mornings to remember who we are as divine beings that have individualized itself as human beings and walking the planet that we call Earth. It's a joy and a pleasure to come together this morning to remember who we are as divine beings and to remember the power that we're each imbued with. We open our service, as we did the first service, and many communities around the nation do, by lighting the flames of faith. It's a ritual, which means that it's done periodically, if not every Sunday in this case. And I'd like to shake it up a little bit for us here this morning and invite you to do, as we did in the first service, to open your mind to think of all the times this has transpired in this room, the lighting of the flames of faith. I've participated in it probably 80 in this room, let's say 50, right? Through services here, young adult services. And the reason I bring that up is in our teaching, our philosophy, our faith, our way of life, we are taught to believe and choose to believe that there is an interconnectedness, a continuity of energy that we all share, and that we both express and experience it through our mind, and that mind vibrates to the frequency of the energy of lighting the flames of faith. And so I invite you to think about all the times you've heard it and feel that energy as a presence. And then to layer upon that into your mind every time it's been done in this room. Dr. Marine, any idea how many times in this room alone? So let's just say 38,612, right? So, and then to add to that, every time it's been stated in a Center for Spiritual Living, at least usually 365 or 52 times a year. And let's tap into that energy as the foundation from which we participate in this ritual today. And then there's another layer I invite you to tap into. It's the flames of faith. We're calling out faiths here. And as you hear each faith, whether it's Buddhism or Islam or Judaism or Christianity or New Thought, to bring into your mind's eye an individual that you may know that represents this faith community or one that you may not know. And invite their energy into this foundation that we're connected to. And then to think of all who practice their faith. And let's let this be the energy that we engage in and feel and participate in and share. And I invite those online to do the same as you see the lighting of the flames as Reverend Kathy Goddess begins. She lights the first candle prior to my declaration, but we're going to honor that as divine unfolding. Today we perform this ceremony to promote the universal consciousness of life, which acknowledges that all people, all faiths, all sentient beings come from the one great universal presence which we call spirit. It's that energy that exists in all that I spoke of earlier. Fundamental to this truth is the unifying nature of all religious thought and experience which we honor here today. We light the flames of faith, a call to service. And so the first candle is being relit in the perfect manner for the Tao, honoring the path of the universal path of harmony and equilibrium, the natural way. And as our goddess lights the second candle, she does so for the shamanic traditions, honoring the beliefs and practice of all indigenous peoples, the way of primal spirituality. In this ritual, as we move to the third candle, we do so for Hinduism, honoring the path of knowledge, action, and devotion. As we light the fourth candle for Judaism, I invite you right now to bring into your mind's eye the healing energy of this ritual, honoring those that were affected by the horrific events in Israel yesterday. And continuing the lighting of this by honoring the ethical path of living by sacred law. As Reverend Kathy lights the fifth candle, we do so for all forms of Buddhism, honoring the Four Noble Truths and the path of compassion. Lighting the sixth candle, as she's moved across the stage, we do so for honoring the Christ consciousness as the path of love. The seventh candle is illuminated for all forms of Islam, honoring the path of submission to the will of God as the highest calling. We light the eighth candle for the universalistic religion of Baha'i, honoring the path of unity and of peace. And as Reverend Kathy lights the ninth candle, it's illuminated for all forms of new thought. It's that which we practice here at the Center for Spiritual Living, Granada Hills, And this flame represents our honoring of the metaphysical path of mental healing through the practice of universal spiritual principles. The 10th candle in our mosaic of candles on the wall, we light not out of ego, but out of honoring those who are yet unaware of spirit and its power in their lives, and for the space and the intention and the honoring that we do so in this moment of lighting the candle. We move to the final candle, which we call the healing candle. I invite you to either silently or feel free to place them audibly, the names of those that you would like to wish to have experience of this healing flame of God's eternal love. Reverend Dr. Mike McMorrow, Woodson Howell, Edward Brown, and so join Teresa in song.
There is one flame that burns in our hearts. There is one light that shines through our love. We light this flame with faith. We find this light within our own soul. There is one flame, one light within.
So join me as I speak in the I am for everyone here and online, as I recognize this presence, this flame, this spirit, which is God, which is the abounding source of love and peace and harmony. And I am one with God, so I am love, peace, and harmony. So I speak my word right now that this morning, this beautiful service celebrating life on this Sunday morning is a perfect and complete idea in the mind of God. That as I know that I am so honored to hear Dr. Keith's message today and Teresa's beautiful music, and just giving thanks for everyone here participating, knowing that this service and my life is just filled with love, harmony, and peace. So with a deep heart full of gratitude, I give thanks right now for this beautiful service and the love, peace, and harmony that I am experiencing right now. And so I release my word to the law. It is done, it is so, and together we say, and so it is. Well, good morning. And welcome any guests, and Dr. Keith. I haven't seen you in several years since the young adult group. And what I wanted to talk about today is this morning I went to print Dr. Keith's intro, and my printer, when I sent it to print, it didn't work. And it seemed strange. There was paper in there, and there was this message on the printer about I didn't have the right size paper. And I thought, that's odd. I'm using the same paper. And so I wasn't in too uptight about it, because I know I could look at the intro on my phone that Dr. Maureen emailed me. But my mind, the monkey mind, starts to go, am I going to have to call technical support? Is my printer completely broken, and am I going to have to replace it? I didn't want to replace the printer because I just got another new TV recently. And so I had to calm myself and know the presence of God is everywhere, and whatever needs to be revealed is revealed, the right solution. And so I went on that infinite divine source of information, Google, typed up the situation, and it had this very complex solution. It said, unplug the printer and let it sit for a while and then replug it. And it worked. Now, why am I bringing this up at church? Well, I got to thinking about how many times I will start to worry about something, and usually, it doesn't, the thing I'm worried about doesn't happen, or it's some very simple thing. But I know sometimes my mind will start going, well, what am I going to do about this? What if this happens? And that's not going to solve anything. And I got to think this is certainly a first world problem. If this is the worst thing that I'm challenged with, well, boy, my life is pretty darn good. Wayne Dyer describes worry. He says, remember that worry is defined as being immobilized in the present as a result of things that are going or not going to happen in the future. So I know that that's futile, and I think about that there's other things that sometimes my mind goes to worry. A few weeks ago when Reverend Mike made his announcement about his going on his leave, of course, I felt concerns and went to a little bit of worry, but I had to release that. He did have the surgery, I had to affirm that the hands of the healthcare workers are the hands of God and everything as well. That's the best gift I felt that I could give to him, not worried. Another thing that happened about a month ago, I had a minor car accident. And instead of first thinking, well, I'm glad no one's hurt, I've got good insurance, it was, well, my rates are going to go up now. But I had to release that. Everything worked out for good, and I'll handle whatever the premiums are. I'm not going to get into that. Ernest Holmes says, you are now encompassed by perfect life, by infinite activity, by all power, by all guidance. The power of spirit is supplying you all good. It is filling you with life and love. And that was from Ernest Holmes on the textbook, page 303. So have a wonderful Sunday, and so it is.
Glass half empty, glass half full. Depends on the day, depends on the fool who is asking. And the fool who replies, we're gonna drink it up anyway. It doesn't really matter what you say. Raise your glass to another day in this big old life. Door wide open, door closed down. Depends on the moon, depends on the clown in your head. Waving all of them signs. So skip the wherefores and shouldn't be, and head straight for the exit, please. Step on into this life you made, and this big old sun comes up, sun goes down in every small forgotten town, shining down on every soul, spilling light in every dark hole. There ain't a thing that you got to do to make that sun shine down on you. Step right in to this big old life. sun comes up, the sun goes down, in every small forgotten town, shining down on every soul, spilling light in every dark hole. There ain't a thing that you got to do to let that sun shine down on you. Step right in to this big old life. Love me tender, love me not. Depends on the flower, depends on the heart, plucking petals and the mirror inside. Are you ready to rise and shine? Are you ready to say, be mine? If you are, then let's take a ride in this big old life. Oh, are you ready to rise and shine? Are you ready to say, be mine? If you are, then let's take a ride in this big old life.
Thank you so much. We have some announcements today. First, we always say we have practitioners available for a 2-minute tune-up after the service. Are there any? I see some practitioners there. We're all available if you've got something going on in your life, and it doesn't have to be something challenging. It could be just you want a boost to have more of that good. Or you can find a practitioner online at CSLGH.org. Okay, anybody who watched Wednesday's play, The Boy Who Saw True, online, please support Harry Hart Brown. You can send $20 donation through our website, CSLGH.org, and he will get it. Or look for the donate button. Make sure you note that it's for Harry. Summer Sangha has begun every Wednesday, 9:30 a.m. to 11, and it's through August 21st, and it's $25 a class. And there's also hybrid join at any time, and it's facilitated by Vinu, and there's more info, Sparks Hall. I'm sure it's going to be very good, or it is very good right now. I'm working part of the time, so I haven't been attending. This Wednesday at 7 p.m., drumming with Burl. There'll be some drums provided, but you can also bring your own. It's really great. I've done it, a great energy release, especially after a day of work or whatever we're doing. Save the date, August 10th. There'll be a silent retreat at the center to focus on selfless service. We call it Karma Yoga. There is room for 15 participants and no drop-ins. It's from 9 to 2 p.m. Bring a sack lunch. And I saw it's facilitated by Reverend Jeannie Hoffman, and there's a sign-up in Sparks Hall. Or you can call this office to reserve space. I think that's it for the day, so let's stand and do our declaration of principles. We believe in one universal spirit, manifesting through all, natural and incarnated in us. We believe that the universal spirit is personal to and reveals itself through everyone who recognizes its presence. We believe that our faith operates upon a law of mind, which automatically manifests in our experience according to that faith. We believe in the unity of all life and in the immortality of the individual soul forever expanding. We believe in the eternal goodness, the eternal loving kindness, and the givingness of life to all.
Y'all join me in singing. I release and I let go. I let the Spirit run my life, and my heart is struggle, no more strife. With my faith I see the light. I am free in the spirit. Yes, I'm only here for God. One more time. I release and I let go. I let the spirit run my life. And my heart is open wide. Yes, I'm only here for God. No more struggle, no more strife. With my faith I see the light. I am free in the spirit. Yes, I'm only here for God.
So now, for the highlight of the service,
No pressure.
let me do the introduction. For 15 years of his ministry, Dr. Keith was youth coordinator for the entire religious science organization. Some teens he nurtured. Yay! Okay, I'm glad you're okay. Some teens he nurtured and taught are now contributing adults in their 30s and 40s. He is now and has been for some time spiritual director of CSL Los Angeles, located on La Brea in West Hollywood. You should know that Dr. Maureen and Dr. Mike have been besties with Dr. Keith for the entire time they've known him. When asked to fill in today, he responded, "I would do anything to help Reverend Mike in any way. Sign me up." So would you give a warm welcome to Reverend Dr. Keith Cox?
Thank you. You're welcome. That's so true. I will do anything to support Reverend Mike. And as I said in the first service, we have become dearest of friends, and we cut our finger and made an oath to each other, and we have lunch together, the three of us, not as Reverend Doctors, but as Mike, Maureen, and Keith. And that's all I'm going to say about that. I'm just going to let it go from there. You know? Power of mind, right? That's what we teach. You know, you said I was going to be the highlight of the service. Teresa fell down the stairs. Like she stole my glory. You know, I love it. Good morning, everyone.
Good morning.
So I want to share something of great importance with you from the beginning. It's this. Is it possible I can move this just a little bit and not break it? Like, oh, I didn't break it. I'm going to do this just like this. There we go. I learned from the first service. Okay, good. So a man is driving around the backwoods of Montana, and he sees a sign in front of a broken down shanty-style house. The sign says, "Talking dog for sale." He rings the bell, and the owner appears and tells him the dog is in the backyard. The guy goes into the backyard and sees a nice-looking Labrador retriever sitting there. "You talk?" he asks the Labrador. "Yes," says the lab, "I do." After the guy recovers from shock of hearing a dog talk, he says, "Hey, what's your story?" The lab looks up and says, "Well, I discovered that I could talk when I was pretty young. I wanted to help the government, so I told the CIA. In no time at all, they had me jetting from country to country, sitting in rooms with spies and world leaders because no one figured a dog would be eavesdropping. I was one of their most valuable spies for 8 years running. But the jetting around really tired me out, and I knew I wasn't getting any younger, so I decided to settle down. I signed up for a job at the airport to do some undercover security, wandering near suspicious characters and listening in. I uncovered some incredible dealings and was awarded a batch of medals. Then I got married and had myself a mess of puppies, and now I'm just retired." This guy was simply amazed. He goes back in and asks the owner what he wants for the dog. $10, the guy responded. $10? That dog is amazing. Why on earth are you selling him so cheap? Guy looks at me and says, because he's full of crap. He's never been out of the yard. I love that story. And I love it for a couple of reasons, but one of the reasons I love it and wanted to share it with us today because it speaks to the theme for the Centers for Spiritual Living's theme for the month of August and for today's talk, perfectly imperfect. I mean, a talking dog, that's pretty perfectly imperfect, right? When I first heard this topic, I thought it was a bit silly. And I figured it was thought up by someone on a committee wanting to chart the course of topics for the parent organization, Centers for Spiritual Living, so that we would all find ourselves enlightened and awakened and empowered and internally thoughtful. And so after review and maybe a check of my ego a little bit, I realized it's absolutely perfect for today. Get the pun? Yeah, didn't work in the first service either. But in observing the chaos of the world of late and the uncertainties of life, and I know my own personal journey over the last few weeks, which have been a physical and emotional roller coaster, it can be quite hard and confusing to lean into that which we teach here and to believe that life is unfolding perfectly when the realm of experience or the condition or the effect really does feel or look imperfect. Anyone relate to that? Anyone relate to that? Yes. There we go. Exchange of energy. Well, what the heck does that theme mean? Perfectly imperfect. I think it's first important for us to look at the perfect part. In our teaching, in our practice, in our philosophy, in our faith, our way of life, we're taught at a very core foundational meaning that we are perfect, we're whole, we're complete. Big idea, hard to understand. That the thing itself, which we call God, is perfect. And as we individualize that thing, we too are perfect. Once again, whole and complete. I don't know about you, but for me, as I entered into this teaching, that became a very difficult and lofty idea to believe in. I would show up on Sunday mornings and I would hear primarily Dr. Kennedy Schultz, my first teacher, stand at the podium and wag his finger at you and say, "You are perfect, whole and complete." And in my mind, I would think, you wouldn't say that if you knew where I just was from 11 o'clock to 2:30 in the morning, the disco ball spinning and that which was going on the dance floor. But I would take it in. And I would allow it to be absorbed into my being until I could know what that meant for me. We're all on a journey of awakening to our spiritual nature. Those that are online and have been to my center, the Center for Spiritual Living Los Angeles, know that our vision statement is this. We support individuals on the journey of finding their personal self-empowerment through a spiritual awakening. I want you to take that in. We're on a journey of finding personal self-empowerment through a spiritual awakening. What does that mean? Well, for starters, it means whatever it is you want it to mean. But looking at it through the lens of our teaching, that spiritual awakening is the remembrance. The technical definition is that we're one with the sea of consciousness of life, right? Pretty lofty. Let's break that down. It means that we are one with all that there is. Also a bit lofty. But if we look at it through the lens of all that there is God, and all that God is energy, then all we are is energy. So therefore, the energy that we are, that is interconnected, that is beyond our physical realm of experience and expression, is that energy, that in and of itself gives us a new perspective on our nature, the spiritual awakening, which as we tune into that, because we're all mental beings, and we know at some level that that is true, that we're all mental beings and connected to the power of the thing that is, and that we all vibrate at the frequency that which is, then that gives us some power to know that we can navigate life in a way that's potentially better than it was before. Ever been there? Yeah, so then our role in this journey is to tap into the thing itself, to remember that its innate nature, which is you and which is me, is perfection, while we then express it in human form and it shows up as being imperfection, which might cause us to then not feel so empowered. But because we are mental beings connected to that which is, whose nature is peace, power, beauty, joy, light, life, love, and wisdom, is to affirm for ourselves that we too are that, and it shall then reveal itself through us, providing us an opportunity to have an experience which is reflective of what it is, and in so doing, we're like, yeah, I am peace, power, beauty, joy, light, life, love, and wisdom. Therefore, I'm a bit more empowered than I was before. And it's through that feeling of knowing that you're a bit more empowered than you were before that the law of life responds and provides to us, through us, because that's its nature, an experience in life that is reflected of that knowing. And then the cycle continues and continues and continues. And it shows up how? Like this. That I get to see before me the divine fully expressed. And you too get to see before you the divine fully expressed, right? It's the way it works. And what that does for us, we remember, is it brings us joy, as we all just experienced that. My acronym for joy is just open yourself to what? More of that which is within you. More of that which is within each and every one of us to express and to give, and to remember that although we may be walking through the world as perfect beings expressing that which appears to be imperfect, that it's through those imperfections we can tap in and find our perfection. That is indeed what's going on in the world, that we are perfectly imperfect while we're also imperfectly perfect. Like that, Maureen? A new twist for CSL, baby. But is that always easy to do? No, because we live in the world of effect. We live in the world of effect where crap shows up. Our printer stops working, and then it sends us a message and tells us that what you're doing is wrong. Or we turn on the television and we see what's going on politically in the world. Or we know that there's crime taking place. Or we know that there's pain and hurt and discourse taking place in our world. What is ours to do? Ours is to remember the truth, to remember who we are, and to act in accordance with that, even if we can't believe it for ourselves in that moment, to believe that it is possible and let the law of life respond to us. I want to share a writing from a dear beloved friend of mine and of Dr. Maureen's from quite some time ago, but I think it's very pertinent and appropriate for our times today. It's from a blog called Living Consciously by Dr. Carol Carnes, Reverend Dr. Carol Carnes, and this was published on January 6, 2013. And when you hear it, you will see that it is very pertinent for today, and that time means nothing unless it's marching across your face. But we can fix that. All right, you ready? Dear friends, she writes, imagine living in a reality where things appear to be separate and distinct from one another, but are actually one unified livingness, where sentient beings share the same mind but do not know it, where a field of awareness undergirds all forms and is available to the form as inspiration and creative thought, but where the being itself thinks it is limited to or by its past experience. Imagine a world where many think that the source of their good is somewhere beyond their reach, that they cannot access it, that somehow they're not deserving of its bounty, or that only a few are, and the rest of us are inferior beings. Ha! Hilarious, she writes. What a world that would be. Those beliefs would produce violent crime, war, sexism, racism, homophobia, child abuse, depression, insanity, all kinds of addictions, religions that exclude, poverty, oppression, and every other kind of limitation based on fear. Fear. And then in quotation marks or parentheses, she writes fear, the acronym, false evidence appearing real. Dr. Carnes goes on to write, it's not hard to imagine this. Just look around. It's the world we inhabit. Our problems are, I'm going to repeat this and get it out right. Our problems are problems of perception, of misinterpretation of ancient wisdom, of mental manipulation by those who fear their own perceived powerlessness. Now imagine how simply and quickly our shared reality could change. Repeat that. Now imagine how simply and quickly our shared reality could change. It would be a quantum jump from ignorance to enlightenment. It can only come about by means of each one of us standing up and declaring our freedom from tyranny of all kinds, beginning with the tyranny of our own limited thinking. Peace, Dr. Carnes writes, is ours now. And so is every other thing our hearts long for. And that deep inside we know are ours to claim and to share. Let's make it real. Demonstrate the truth. Who's up for that? Who's up for that? Yeah. There we go. I know it was a lot to take in, but what Dr. Carroll says to us is that peace is ours now, as is all of the other qualities of God that we are imbued with, which are power and beauty and joy and light and life and love and wisdom. It's a big idea. And sometimes it's hard to comprehend that peace, which is defined as that inner state of calm, can exist for us in a world where it appears to be otherwise. How many are familiar with the song, "Let There Be Peace on Earth and Let It Begin with Me"? Yes. You're going to sing it in a few minutes. Well, I invite you to take in that as an invitation, as a call, a clarion call to change your thinking and change your life starting today in regards as to what is possible for you in life as you begin to navigate the journey of your life that appears imperfect while you are imbued with every facet and wholeness of your being as perfection. Let there be peace on earth and let it begin with you. But let's broaden our horizon on that and challenge ourselves to open up to a new definition of peace and use the acronym that I like for peace, which is this: purposeful energy activates conscious evolution. So, let there be purposeful energy activating conscious evolution on earth. And let it begin with me. Let there be purposeful energy activating conscious evolution on earth. The purposeful, energetic activation of conscious evolution, that was indeed meant to be. We're called here today to not just pray and to treat and to sing and feel in community and let that be great and then walk out of here and go back to our daily activities the way we walked in. We're called because as children of the divine, we've tuned into something that is saying to us there's more for you to be. And the only way that we can be more of that is by listening and trusting and knowing there's also more for us to give. Conscious evolution, as per the great Dr. Barbara Marx Hubbard, says choosing to have a paradigm shift within of living from ego, of changing from living by ego to living from essence. Of letting your innate nature of peace, power, beauty, joy, light, life, love, wisdom, and perfection guide us to the best of our ability every step of the way. Imagine, as Dr. Carnes told us, as well as did John Lennon, and so is Keith, imagine if you engaged today in your journey of finding personal self-empowerment through a spiritual awakening, of simply just allowing your perfection to shine, to be a radiance field of transformation on this planet, giving not from judgment, not from ego, not from what your monkey mind thinks you should do, but from your divinity. Letting your light not only illuminate the pathway, but to understand that as your pathway is illuminated, what you're drawing back into you is more that is a reflection of the energy that you're choosing to be, and then honor that along the way. And when something may show up that appears to be out of your energetic field of life, not to judge it, not feel sorry for it, not feel sad for it. Certainly can feel compassion, can honor it, but then hold a higher idea for all that comes your way. This week during our meditation, we do one every Wednesday morning, I had us all imagining ourselves becoming unicorns with a lovely horn on our head. And not just because they're cute and they're unique and they certainly symbolize a lot of fun, rainbowy activity, but to use it as a mental picture that at the tip of our horn, it's like a radio antenna. And that it's vibrating energy. And the energy that it's vibrating is the perfection that is in each and every one of us. It's that power, that beauty, that joy, that light, that love, that wisdom that is radiating itself out and bringing more back into it. It is that perfection of the divine that you are and I am and all of life is. Perfection is what we're talking about today, while understanding that without a doubt, prior to today, including today, and beyond today, there will be appearances and conditions and circumstances and experiences where it may appear imperfect. In the book, Your Mind Can Heal You, Frederick Bales gives a 7-step approach to spiritual mind treatment. He starts in it with this. He says, with the fundamental truth that the person, all of those at the tip of our unicorn tip, for whom we're treating is a perfect idea in the mind of God. And our whole procedure, that act of spiritual mind treatment, of affirming, of speaking truth, is intended to remove from our own mind any idea or picture of imperfection or sickness. What he's telling us is our job on this planet as healing agents is to not try to fix or change anyone or anything. But when we're confronted with that which appears to be less than, to take a deep breath in, gather ourselves, exhale, and return to that within. That which is whole, which is perfect, which is complete. And it's that is transcendent of anything that you've ever done or ever will do in your life. The great Dr. Ernest Holmes defines perfection as this. It's God, whatever you want to call it God, call it Jesus, call it Yahweh, call it Christopher, call it Beulah, call it May, call it you, but most importantly, call it I am. And he says the great I am is in us and through us and as us, and in so doing can only express according to its own nature, which is perfection. Today, on this day, July 28th, in the year 2024, give yourself a gift of letting go of everything you've held on to prior to this moment. And then give yourself an act of joy by opening up and allowing the thing itself within you to rise up and make itself known. Trust that it's always there. It always has been, always will be. Whether you're walking planet Earth or celestial out there doing something else. It's infinite by nature, whether it's housed within you or not. A mantra by the great Louise Hay says, in the infinity of life where I am, all is perfect, all is whole, all is complete. I invite you to say this with me. Today, I know that in the infinity of life, where I am, all is perfect, whole, and complete. Now, it's important for us to remember that today we can commit to changing our beliefs in oneness, the wholeness, the completeness, and the perfection. But the great Ryan Jordan tells us this: the belief in oneness changes nothing. Living, being in oneness changes everything. Today you get to ask yourself, how can I be the oneness of life in a new way? How can I live the oneness of life in a new way? How can I give my oneness in life in a new way? And the best and the easiest and the most important way to do that is to look into a mirror, take a deep breath in, and say, I love you. Thank you. Namaste. All right, just 1 second.
Slow down, let it go. Slow down, let it all go. All the fears and the doubts, all the pain, all the wounds, feelings of being alone. Surrender. Let it go. Surrender. Let it all go. All the shame and the guilt, all the tears, all the blame, feelings of being outside. Surrender. Let it go. Don't you know God is here? 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 let it all go. Open your heart and let in the light. Open your mind. Surrender. Let it go. Don't you know God is here? 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 Let it all go. Surrender. Let it all go.
God is here by means of this beloved being of light. Thank you. That song is so touching. Now is the time in our service to support our community financially. And it's a great opportunity to extend your hand and give of the good that exists in the world monetarily, financially, and to know that all that is given is, hi Chloe, is welcomed, appreciated, and honored and acknowledged. And for those of you from CSLLA, you know you can go to our website or our app and support us. And if you're with CSL Granada Hills, I believe you can go to your website as well as we'll do this here in person. I'd like to affirm before we do that we all honor and give today to the best of our ability. As one of my long-term teachers, Dr. David Walker, used to say, let's reframe the statement, give until it hurts, and say, let's give until it feels good and a little bit better. And so today I invite you to come forward as we sing the giving song and support our community financially. There's a basket right here. If you can do that in cash, check, jewelry, credit cards, and or car keys. Come forward and sing the song. Hi.
Spirit gives through me. Spirit receives through me. Spirit lives and breathes through me. Spirit lives and breathes through me. Spirit gives through us. Spirit receives through us. Spirit lives and breathes through us. Oh, Spirit lives and breathes through us.
Teresa, will you keep playing the piano underneath that, please? So let's all close our eyes. If that feels comfortable for you and safe for you, including those online. We've all seen what it looks like for a seed to be planted and for it to then take root. And then if it's a tree, to emerge through the soil, rising up, creating a canopy, bearing fruit, dropping that, letting it nourish and nurture all, and then return to its source. I share that metaphor with us today to use that as an example of what giving for us can be. So let's affirm today that as we've planted the seed of abundance and prosperity and expansion for the Center for Spiritual Living Granada Hills, that we each know and affirm that our ability to imagine is of great importance. So we use it today and then take it into our own lives, letting it be an example of what's possible for ourselves. Say with me, God is good, and I am good as it. I grow, I flourish, I receive, I give, and I stay in the flow. And so it is. Thank you. Let's welcome Reverend Kathleen back to take us out.
And let's give Dr. Keith and Teresa a big hand. Yay! Thank you. And so join me in consciousness as I speak right now how grateful I am for this wonderful center and recognizing this power, this presence of life, which is the life of God and love, beauty, joy, and perfection. And I am one with that presence of God, of love, beauty, joy, and perfection. And so I hereby proclaim right now that my life right now, here and after, is filled with love, joy, and beauty, and knowing right now that whatever I see is imperfect, knowing that its purpose is unfolding perfectly in my life, that all conditions of my life are now joyful, beautiful, and loving. And so I am so grateful right now for this center, for this hour spending with Dr. Keith, and just giving thanks for the joy, beauty, love in my life, and giving thanks that for whatever I see, that all conditions in my life are perfect. And with gratitude, faith, trust, and conviction, I release my word to the law. I know it is done. I know it is so. And together we say, and so it is.
All right. You want to join in a circle and join in singing on our song? Let there be peace on earth, and let it begin with me. Let there be peace on earth, the peace that was meant to be, with God as our power, united all are we. Let us walk with each other in perfect harmony. Let peace begin with me. Yes, this is the moment now. With every step I take, let this be my joy.